My vision board, it's so funny. When I did the vision board, we hadn't made this decision, but my vision board is full of all the places in the world that I want to see. And the feeling that I get from there is both this feeling of like immense satisfaction and presence and like a beginner's mind and very much joy. So welcome to another solo app. We are just on the cusp of turning over both the Chinese New Year and also the Human Design New Year as far as True Sidereal goes. And I am finally ready to share something that I feel like I've been keeping a secret from you. It's so funny, isn't it? When we're in online business, there can be this temptation of, I need to have an opinion on everything and I need to tell my community everything. And I was, no, you don't. You're a human. You're a human that happens to run a business, right? So I have some exciting news. It's no secret that I had quite a tricky year in 2025. We had a lot of family stuff going on, a lot of hospitalization, placement into aged care for a parent, and it was really hard. It was really hard in a lot of ways. And I definitely shifted gears in my business from this. I released a lot of offers, but I also felt like many times I got into a place or a pattern where I'd almost overcommitted given what life was doing, right? So if life was just lifing away and everything was going beautifully, wouldn't have been a problem. But a couple of times I found myself going, oh my goodness, I have crafted this offer, but in a way that I don't actually know whether I can sustain that whilst my family situation is like eroding rapidly. Anyway, we got through it. I was going to say no one died. That's probably not a great example. No one's head exploded. I survived. My client community survived. But it did get me thinking about defining success in 2026 in a different way. And I have to say that I have gone from being someone who is a pretty big goal setter in quite a masculine way. So like the old SMART goal thing, and I think I've spoken about here, like I quite often will work with an archetype or a word or something for the year. I have to be honest, this year I have not had any clarity around any of that. Like I did not set goals. What I did get really clear, I'm just looking at my vision board over to the left of my computer. What I did get clear on was what I wanted to invite into my world in terms of how I wanted to feel. And two of my big words, like freedom's always been my highest value. That's not news. But the second thing was just this joy. Like, how much more joy can I make space for? Can I prioritize? And also asking that question really got me thinking about what am I actually doing now that is taking up space where joy could be? And how am I making decisions in my business as well? Not through a lens of joy. Is there any like obligation decisions, or is it all from generosity? Is there things that I'm actually continuing to provide that don't feel like they want to come into this new cycle? And then that question, oh my goodness, such a rabbit hole. So I don't need to tell you all the ins and outs. But anyway, long story short, I was having this conversation with my husband and I was like, I just feel like the last year has been such a grind. And I know that a lot of us are in the same boat. Like the whole snake shedding 9-year really got to a lot of people, not just me. But I said to him, I just feel like I'm stuck in a rut at the moment. I feel like I'm just Groundhog Daying. Like every day feels the same. Every week feels the same. And for someone who is a lover of adventure and dopamine, let's be honest, like the ADHD part of my brain loves some innovation, loves new stuff. And I was noticing that because that drive was there, and I think that this was actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, what I'm realizing, hello, voice processor, is that a lot of even the new offers that I created last year was from a sense of I want to do something new. And I'm now realizing, yes, as stupid as it is to be saying to one person, you need to fulfill all of my needs, of course, it is just as flawed to be expecting our business to provide all of our needs. So that is a good clarity for me there. Anyway, I was having this conversation with my husband, talking about Groundhog Day. We had been talking, so we left the year that my dad died, which was 2011. Wow, that's almost his anniversary. Far out. Wow, 15 years. straight after my dad died, I went on a retreat at a friend's place in the beautiful Sunshine Coast hinterland. Oh my God, gorgeous property. Hello, Annie Clark, if you're listening. What a gorgeous human. My goodness. Actually, I should interview you, Annie. I will reach out. Anyway, I was at Annie's. I was on retreat by myself. I was full of grief. My dad was my best friend. He'd been living with us for 5 years. It was a huge shock, actually, because he'd been in such good health, even though he was 90, almost 91. Anyway, for some reason, when I was on retreat, I was looking online, and back in those days, it wasn't very common to be videoing. Like, video content was not as common as it is today. And so I'd been reading a blog of someone I'd been following. She happened to be in New York City. And then this day I came across a video that she'd done, and she was very clearly Australian. And I was like, this chick that I've been following for years, she's Australian. And for some reason in my brain, that meant I should ring her. I don't know. Yes, exactly. You're probably thinking, what the hell? Why would that be your next thing? Anyway, so I rang her. And weirdly, I think I've told this story before. But anyway, weirdly, she actually answered the phone, and she ran a wellness center in Manhattan, and she did a specific type of coaching. And that was when I was first qualifying in health and life coaching. And I just really was attracted to the way that she used to talk about working with women, and it just felt really magnetic to me. So I rang her and said, hey, you don't know me from a bar of soap. I'm also Australian, so obviously we should be best friends because weird. And I'd love to learn from you. And blow me down, she says, that sounds amazing. Why don't you come and intern for me? So I came back home from the retreat and I said to my husband, so Pep, feel about me going to New York for 3 months to do an internship? Now keep in mind, Dad had been with us for 5 years. Our kids are, I think, 5 and 6. 5 and 6. My husband says, that's fine, Kylie. But if you're going, we're all going. So he's got family in Portland, Oregon. And so in the space of around about, I think it was like, I don't know, very short, like 2 or 3 months, we had sold our house, packed everything up into a container, had a massive garage sale to get rid of a whole heap of stuff that we didn't want to put in storage. And we'd moved into an amazing holiday unit right on the Sunshine Coast, just waiting for the date when the internship came up, right? So we went and had this amazing holiday, moved to America. I went and did my training. My kids were, in inverted commas, homeschooled in the ski fields near Oregon. And we had the most amazing adventure. And since then, I have been saying I would really love to, because I have an online business, take my business on the road and just travel and work at the same time. I've been saying that since 2011. So I'm saying to Shane just recently, I'm getting the feeling I'm being in Groundhog Day, and I really feel like I want to mix it up, and I don't want to just get that through my business because that is not a healthy way of just getting dopamine and what's the point and blah, blah, blah. And then I start saying to him, what we should do is we should just go overseas for a year. And at first, like, I'm starting to tell people we're going overseas. That is my way, and that's a manifestor thing, maybe. I don't know. Fellow manifestors under True Sky, let me know if this is a common occurrence. But once I start speaking things out loud, they tend to happen. So it's like speaking it actually is like throwing the future out in front of me, and then I'm actually running into it with my words. Anyway, so I started to say to friends, we're thinking about going overseas. Shane was not thinking about going overseas. But anyway, over the next month or so, he takes longer to make decisions than me in general. Not always, actually, in some things. Anyway, over the next month or so, he starts to be like, yeah, we do that. Like, why don't we do that? Like, perfect time. Our eldest daughter just moved out of home on my birthday this year, so a couple of weeks ago. So it was like the universe, as soon as we started talking about it, all of the reasons why this couldn't happen have just fallen by the wayside. Everything has worked its way out. So the exciting news is that we are doing exactly that. So we are renting a house for 12 months at least. We don't know whether we'll be longer than that. And we're going on a grand adventure. And My vision board, it's so funny. When I did the vision board, we hadn't made this decision, but my vision board is full of all the places in the world that I want to see. And the feeling that I get from there is both this feeling of like immense satisfaction and presence and like a beginner's mind and very much joy. There's happy, smiling faces all over it. Much more about being in my body, because I do feel like in 2025, I was mainly taking up space in my head. My self-care, physical self-care really went by the wayside with a lot of what was going on. And I just have a desire to feel much more grounded and present and also healthy and stable, definitely with my joint condition. What else is on there? Lots of beaches, lots of smiles, lots of outdoor adventures. There is a dude in those plastic like fishing pants, like waders or whatever, because that's one of the things that Mr. P would like to do is go to Alaska and do that kind of wilderness stuff. So anyway, we don't know exactly when it will be. Originally we were starting with July, but because of some things that were happening up until May, but now those things might not happen. So who knows? Anyway, very likely in the next few months, we will be hitting the road. So I'm going to take you guys on the road with me. That means a lot more what I think it will mean, and I don't know, who knows, because I haven't been there yet, but what I think it will mean is much more of interweaving business and life. Because I'm always talking to clients about a soul-fueled, sustainable business. But for me, sustainable now includes being able to make enough income that I am feeling that there's a sense of overflow, but that overflow is also not just about money. For me, it's about joy. It's about making memories, having experiences, seeing new sights. And I'm just like, you know what? It's time to put my money where my mouth is. So I have been talking about soul-fueled and sustainable business, and I can certainly do that when I'm in my home environment. We're going to take it on the road and we're going to see what happens. And right, suck it and see is my life motto, right? We'll snack on the smorgasbord of being travelers. At the moment, I have to say what's going on in the Northern Hemisphere doesn't make me love the idea of heading some of the places that we would have. And obviously we'll just continue to feel that through. But at the moment, many places in Southeast Asia and South Asia are on the list. I would love to go and see, I've not been to Europe yet. So my dad is from Ireland, so I'd love to go and see all of that. But we don't know. The plan is to have no plan. We will likely have an anchor place for the first 4 to 6 weeks. Both of us have a great desire to spend some time at a beach. We're both beach lovers and we've been living in the country for 8 years now. Yeah. The vast majority of the pictures actually here of anything tropical is like beautiful, crystal clear blue water, white sand. And yeah, I think both of us have really, the thing that's exciting to me the most is simplifying. Like even since we've made this decision, I've gone through every cupboard in my house and asked the question, does this bring me joy? Do I care enough about this thing, this material thing, to pack it up for a year and then come home and unpack it and bring it back into my world? And then the second question that I've been asking about all of that sort of stuff and any decision in business is, does this bring me joy? Does it feel closer to freedom? Does it feel aligned to my values? And I have to say, we've been chucking a lot out. So we have been selling things and shedding things and donating things and ditching things and yeah, cleaning up. The most recent thing that we ditched is a friend of ours came yesterday because she was looking at some fence wire that we had extra because we have an enormous shed. So there's a lot of stuff being accumulated in that shed. And so she came to look at fencing wire and she left with 2 chickens. So 2 of our pets have gone. I have to say, in all my honesty, the most different people are saying to me, oh my God, that's a huge decision. I'm like, not really for us because we've done it once before and we did it with 2 kids in tow last time. But I do have to say that one of the things that does feel different is that there's more, I wouldn't say a lot of anxiety, but there's definitely a hesitation there in terms of, like last time we had our kids with us, right? This time they are not coming with us. So what if something happens with them and they need us at the drop of a hat or whatever? And it's been interesting. It's opened up some very cool conversations where Mr. P and I have, it's such a vibe to learn to be a couple after being like parents for so long. And that's not a new experience. I know a lot of you listening will have the same experience. It feels really cool to be planning an adventure together in this new phase of life. And also it's like, we don't know what will happen. Like maybe we'll go for 2 months and we'll absolutely hate the experience of being on the road that much. Like I am very much a homebody. So I'm like, oh, how am I going to feel? But also some of the things that I'm worried about, and not worried is way too strong a word, but I've definitely had the kind of, what if something happens with the girls? And also we have a dog and a cat that we dearly love. And so that is a sticking point at the moment. Who is taking the animals and who do we trust to take the animals, and will the animals be okay, and all of those things. The thing about the girls, I also definitely have a question of myself of, you're such a homebody, are you going to want to be away from home for 12 months? The antidote to that is you rent your home for 12 months so you can't come. Worst case scenario, we'll just come back to Australia and, I don't know, rent somewhere here by the beach or whatever. So yeah, it feels like a whole grand adventure that we're saying yes to. It feels really cool to be planning something. I'm excited to see what that opens up business-wise as well, because I've definitely had, especially around the time when I was launching Scene, these beautiful periods of my business where things like paid ads, ad strategies, or being seen by other people's people, like being in summits or guests or whatever, have really felt like very easy and very sustainable ways of inviting new clients in and having a flow of people coming in, either purchasing products or coming in and having an experience where they want to purchase products. And I feel like this decision is much more pushing me towards that end of, not pushing, inviting me to lean into, the strategies that make sense to me in terms of my energetics and my genius, but also how much I want to work when I'm traveling. Like I have no intention of working full time, and I have no intention of even working full days. Yeah, I'm excited. So if anyone has any tips for anywhere in Southeast Asia, South Asia, I'd like to say we're going to get to Europe, but it very much depends on the political and geopolitical climate in the Northern Hemisphere. I don't really want to put myself in harm's way. I know a lot of you that listen to this actually live there, so I'm really sorry about the horrendous things that are happening with certain places. Yeah, so if you've got any tips, if you've lived overseas, if you've taken your business on the road, if you have tips of where to go, we are definitely not super busy place people. We've been to many of the big centers in Asia before, and I have no desire to go. I don't want to go back to KL. I don't want to go back to Bangkok. Like we might go as stopovers, but that is not the vibe. The vibe is staying in places for maybe 4 to 6 weeks at a time, immersing yourself in the culture, eating like a local, traveling on foot like a local, or scooter, whatever. And just, inviting more of the ratcheting down of the nervous system that, I feel like the simplification is the most juicy part of what we're feeling into. Because, we've never been in one place for as long as this house. And oh my God, like we are not big consumers by any stretch of the imagination. We've already got a pretty simple life. But the amount of consumption and accumulation of stuff. And I'm like, I hate stuff. I don't like having shit just to have shit. Like it's not my vibe at all. And yet somehow, 1 degree by 1 degree, we've somehow gone down tracks that aren't necessarily aligned to our values. And that's really cool because it's giving us a really good chance to look and be like, ditch, delegate, donate, or does it actually go in the container? That's the options. So the big news. So Groundhog Day to grand adventure, and you're coming on the journey. And if you've got any tips, if little magical pockets, obviously internet is going to be quite important, but apart from that, there really is no rules. Except for, of course, like general visa rules. But anyway. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope that you are in a position in your business where either you are operating things aligned to your values and how your energy works and what your deep desires are in your life, or you are at least aware of where you're out of alignment so that you can make conscious choice. Toodaloo. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If this episode lit a fire in your body, in your business, deep down in your bones, please take a moment to drop a rating and review so more rebels just like you can find us. And don't keep this goodness to yourself. Share it with your disruptor, rebel, and revolutionary friends who are ready to roar right alongside of you. Until next time, stay wild, stay unapologetic, and stay fucking free.